Hi, welcome to a brand new video of the Targeted Individual Program, the Targeted Individual Experience. Just let me fix this. Okay, so I have a video that I gotta publish, but I'm not gonna publish it as of yet. And that video has this video in it, but I want to put this video out there uh, before I publish the other video because it's pretty um, striking. Okay. Um, then I want to talk about uh, you know my attempts to go back to college and what that has been like. Okay. But this video here. You'll see I'm driving home one night. Okay. I was just leaving Pam's house, and you see the flashing lights, right? So that's the police, okay? And I saw them from like 2 blocks away. So here you see this guy wearing the red because they started using people wearing red again. So constantly seeing people wearing red as I'm driving, I said, okay, you know what? Let me record this because again, something is up. And then you see as I'm driving by here, you see another guy wearing red standing there. Uh, you'll see him start looking up into the sky. Okay, you can see that. Let's go back a little bit. Let me see if I can make the image a little lighter so you guys can see. Wrong way. Okay, let's see if this is going to work. All right. So you see him looking up into the sky. Okay, as I'm driving by. Then he looks at the police vehicle, who now makes a U-turn. Okay, let me put it back. The lights are so bright. Okay, all right. See this. Okay. All right. So now the police vehicle now makes a U-turn. So you see they waited until I got close. Now you see they make the U-turn. So again, this stuff like this happens all the time. It never stops. Taking a bus to my old college that I used to go to, New York City Tech, downtown Brooklyn. You know, constant police. Yesterday, actually, when I was coming back and I was getting off at the bus stop, they had a police vehicle at the bus stop as well as an ambulance. And the interesting thing is that when the bus, because they were in the bus stop, so the bus had to pull in front of the police vehicle because the police vehicle was in front of the ambulance. So the bus pull up ahead of the bus stop. Doors open. When it's my turn to get off the bus, one of the police officers, it's a black officer now, comes to where I was getting off the bus at, and he's looking at this car windshield, right? He's looking into the car windshield. Again, they're subliminals, it's nonsense. But they like to think that they win and this is some game. This is not a game, and I'm not playing a game with these people. But this is a continuing thing that they do. For example, yesterday I had to create an account for the CUNY First website. I put in the information, put in the password, which was S first. Okay, that was part of the password. Logged it in. Everything was fine. They accepted the password. I went back to log into the CUNY First using the same password. They wouldn't work. The password wouldn't work. So I did okay. Forgot password. Click that. Using the same password again. Okay. Put it in. They accepted it. Okay. go back to login using the same password, S first, and whatever else, couldn't log back in. Okay? Could not log back in. So if I attempt to use the word first in a password or anything like that, they would not let me use that password. So this is the type of psychological shit, as well as them having access to basically every damn thing on the internet. Okay, including CUNY, their servers and their system, that they're in there. And on top of that, they started, like whenever like I have to go to financial aid, and there's a couple times that I'm walking to financial aid, and they have these student perpetrators. They'll look at me, look into financial aid, look at me, look into financial aid, and they've been doing this every time I walk by financial aid, or if I'm waiting to speak to someone within financial aid. So yesterday, I had filed for the federal financial aid service, which is the Pell, and I also did the state, which is the TAP. Okay, so I got the Pell. Okay, and I'm just looking at it here, and it says offered $3,097.50. Authorized $3,097.50. Disperse $774.38. Now I didn't think about this, but today, right when and I got this yesterday. I didn't even look at it. So today I went to out of class to have 15 credit. Okay, and all the time, this is my fourth time going to change class or add classes, because what has been happening within the uh, the academic advisement department, again, mobbing across the board when I'm in there. And there was a woman there, a white woman, who they assigned me to. I think her name was Lima. From the get go, from the first time I went there, okay, they kept me in there a long time. Okay, I had to go pick up my kids from school because it was the final day of summer school. And first of all, I had a cane. They know I'm disabled. Okay, and they had me waiting. Okay, then I had to get up to go to them again and say, hey, I've been sitting here for a while. My back is hurting. My leg is hurting me. So they're like, okay, somebody will be with you, right? Every time I go in there, they give me an issue, right? They have me wait until I have to get up. They're like, even yesterday, when I told one of the workers in there I had to go to the student accessibility center. She's like, okay, go ahead, and when you come back, we'll see you right away. Did that, came out, they had me wait. Okay, again, which is all right. I'm like, okay, whatever. But I get up, just to remind them, hey, I'm here waiting, such and such. So this woman, Mila, okay, when I first went to her, they assigned me her to you know, put in my schedule, what have you. And then she kept me there. And then she disappeared for 20 minutes and then came back, right, while we were doing the schedule. So by the time she came back, 20 minutes had passed, and I'm looking at the time, and I'm like, listen, I have to go pick up my kids for 2:30. So I couldn't even really sit down to look at the schedule properly and to say, hey, I need to change this. This is the schedule. So I ended up getting a schedule that's not good for me. Okay? Let me pull up, because I want to show you guys this. All right? Show you guys the amount of changes that I have to go through with these people. And every time I get there, there's heavy mobbing, heavy theater. And again, it is done to cause you not to think rationally, to disrupt your thinking, and so that they can uh, what is called give you subliminal suggestions. Okay, and then when I'm sitting with this woman that works in there, all of a sudden, most of the workers in that department, kept coming to her, stand up in front of me, you know, uh, clicking pens, showing me their watches. Okay, and this was constant. This was constant. All right. So anyway, like I said, so the first time I went there to get my class schedule, like I said, she disappeared for 2 minutes. They made me wait because they knew, again, I had to go pick up my kids for 2:30, and they knew the schedule they wanted to give me, and they knew they had to do it in such a way that I would not be able to change it that day, right? Because their job is to not allow you to get what you want, is to give you what they want to give you. Okay, so this is what they're doing, right? So they're gonna always, because you remember I did a video because I was thinking about going back to school, and I took the kids downtown with me. We went to I had to find to try to get my high school diploma, and I was at McDonald's, and these two teenagers came in. They were one wearing their shirt, and it says "Follow me to college." Well, I registered for college, and the targeted, followed me to college. So that's why they send you subliminal messages, right? Okay, so let's see this. Spring. Okay. So like I said, right? So I couldn't even dispute, not dispute, but change anything to suit a good schedule for me because I had to leave. And like again, they did that on purpose by them having me wait. And then when I finally got that person to see me, that woman whose name was Mila, she left for 20 minutes and then came back, you know. And then also that as she was putting in my schedule, I don't know what she was doing, but she was taking her time. All these errors started popping up, and I figured, something that this it wasn't her part, and it was because when it was time for me to leave, she put in back the same codes, what have you, and everything was fine, right? Except again, it's a schedule that didn't suit, me, all right, or my needs. So went back a second time. Went back a second time. I got somebody different, and I forgot the individual name, but he was like, why did she did this? Because you still have to get your MMR shot, your immunization shots. I said, well, she didn't tell me that, and if it was in the system, she didn't mention it. And so he said, go and get the immunization shots, and then come back, and then we can, you know, um, you know, continue to do the changes, what have you. So that was the second time. The third time, right? Went to her again. This was yesterday, okay? And she when I go to her, she makes it very difficult for me. Okay, very very difficult for me. what, let me put back in the webcam. Okay, so she's making it very difficult for me, right? So instead of her showing me my schedule as how it looks for the week on the computer screen, which she had the capability to do because it was done for me today by somebody else because I asked for somebody else. I did not ask for her. She just continued to give me these printouts, right, of my classes, in which, in trying to figure out my time slot, I got to look at these, this printout, and my classes are not like Monday, and then like all my Monday classes one after the other, all my Tuesday classes one after the other, or my Wednesday classes, one after the other, and so forth. They're all in different order. So they're all over the place. And she could have pulled up on the screen where I can see how my class schedule looked for the week, right? So then, on top of that, also, uh, it was advised to me by uh, one of the professors of my department that to take 15 credits per semester, right? And so when we redo my schedule yesterday, you know, um, I ended up I picked it was 5 classes, but it was only 14 credit, and I didn't realize that until I got home, right? Because interesting enough, when I went to financial aid yesterday to find out about my financial aid, the person in the financial aid department that I spoke to, she was like, on the screen, she was like, well, your federal came in and your tap didn't, for whatever. I guess she said it takes like 3 weeks, what have you. And then she's like, but you're all good. You're all good with the federal. You got your 15 credits and everything. You know, but I didn't have 15 credits. So why is she telling me about the 15 credits, right? So when I got home, I look at my schedule and I'm like, shit, I don't have 15 credit. I have 14 credit, right? And it's recommended within my department that to take 15 credits per semester because I need a lot of credits to graduate, right? I think it's like 128, whereas most uh, bachelor's degree, you need 120 credit, and this one I need 128 to 130, I believe, 30 credit, right? So she didn't tell me all this stuff, as a person who's advising someone academically in terms of with their program. She didn't go through any prerequisite classes that I need to take before, taking such and such classes, nothing like that. When I went today, and like I said, I asked for somebody that's totally different. I mean, she broke it down the way how the other lady, Mila, was supposed to do it from the beginning. But again, they were using her to target me as well as, other people within the department. And that's the majority of people that's working in that department. Okay? Because they'll always have me wait. Even yesterday, when I'm waiting, and they're like, I had to see such and such, the same lady again, and and they had me waiting, and I'm like, well, can I see somebody else? And they're like, well, so I said, is she's the only one that I can see? And they told me yes. But then today, all of a sudden now it's like, oh yeah, you have a right to ask for somebody else and see somebody else, but that's not what they told me yesterday. When I went there yesterday, they told me that I had to specifically wait on her. Okay, so this is what they're doing, right? So it just goes to show you that even you're a target and they disabled you, they're still going to continue on with this stuff. Okay, there is no, now that we disabled this person, we've damaged this person psychologically, physically. Let's take it. No, no, no. This is again, to totally eradicate and destroy your life and your health, your relationships, everything. Okay, and this is what they've been doing in terms of relationship with Pam and me by sending, what do you call this? Sending agents, right? And when I say agent, I don't mean that they're working for the federal government or the CIA, the FBI, but sending civilian perpetrators who they've given information to them about her, right, to entice her, induce her sexually, to ruin our relationship, right, so that they can break us up, and all this stuff. And then recently, they're sending me all these subliminal messages about, the person that they set her up with, she's getting married to that person. And I don't really care. If that's the way she feels she wants to go, that's fine. But I have already told her about the stuff that's going to happen. I told her, I said, listen, you need to be very careful. These people, they'll try to get you hooked on drugs, try to get you into a relationship just to break you and us up, and will have you doing things. And like I said, recently, for the past 2 months, she's been actively targeting me Whereas before, she'll say, sometimes she'll be like, you know, I got to scratch my nose, and she'll turn away or what have you. Now it's like aggressive with her. Okay, so I don't know if she got put into a situation where they entrapped her and they're using her now against me, and that's probably a likely scenario. But yeah, that's what's been happening, right? So anyway, so today I was taking the bus to school, right? Because I had registered and everything. The lady told me that my financial aid was good, right? And so we passed by the Department of Education on Livingston Street, and this guy all of a sudden, as soon as the bus stopped, right? Because there was a light, he comes, he stands up in front of the Department of Education, looking up at the sign, right? The Department of Education. Okay, and he stayed there until the bus drove off. Then he leaves because again, this is how they get your attention and the stuff that they do. So, like I said, I went to get 15 credits. So I had to add a class. So I'm now taking 6 class. With this target and stuff, I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but I'm gonna apply myself, and do the best that I can to get this, done. And of course, they're gonna be targeting me. But I had went to the office of the accessibility um, for student for students who have disabilities, and was told that when it comes to the test taking time, I can take the test in that department where, I'm not around a lot of people, because I guarantee you, if I'm in the classroom taking the test, they're going to mob the shit out of me. Okay, and that will probably cause me to lose my lack of concentration when doing this test, and probably fail these tests, because this is what they do. This is what they're going to do. This is the hive mentality that they have created within the civilian population. Okay. So anyway, so then I'm speaking to the person who's helping me with this change that I had to make. Um, you know, uh, uh, American of Asian descent, and she was very helpful. She was still talking to me, but she was more helpful than the other lady, Mila. Okay, and so when she showed me my schedule on the screen, that I think that's the bell. Hold on a second. Okay, so she showed me my schedule on the screen in terms of, you know, my Monday schedule, my classes on Monday, my classes on Tuesday, and that was very helpful, you know. And I was like, well, now I can see it more clearly. So now I know, you know, I can see how the class looked each day. Okay, so and then I had Thursday off, and I want to add that one more class so I can get that 15 credit, right? Now, one thing in this program that you have to understand is that anything that you want, they will try to deny you. Okay? In most cases, they will deny you. But there are in some cases where we may have some small victories of getting what you want. Okay? But there's always going to be a repercussion from them. Okay? And I think in my case, it's the financial aid. Right? Because the same lady, the Asian lady, the Asian American woman, she was after all that, she says to me, she was like, well, whether you're taking 5 classes or 6 classes, whether you're taking 12 credits or 15 credits, they still charge you a flat rate. I'm like, what do you mean flat? I said, I got financial aid. I mean, look, I'm a student. I'm on disability. Okay, there's no way I can pay to go to school. Out of my own pockets, just no way. Right? So then it dawned on me, as far as the first time I went to the school, do everything and register and everything. And I said, is this the reason why they kept looking at financial aid office whenever I'm around there, whether I'm at the register or administration? Is it what they're going to deny me financial aid or give me less financial aid? And I think that's the case here, right? Whereas, because it says here, right? Because when I fill out the federal, I had to do zero income because again I'm on disability. So the question they ask you is that if you're working, I have to answer no. Do you have any other source of income um, that is non-reported? So I called and I spoke to someone. I said, should I put my disability uh, uh, payments in there? And they were like, no, leave it at zero. So that's what I did, right? So, you know, they can't expect me to pay for college. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm on disability. I don't make enough to have money out my pocket to pay for college when I have other, bills to pay in the house. Okay? So this is what they try to do on the federal level, right? Because even when I had applied for the federal aid, and then I went and applied for TAP, and I had to put in my password, create a password and everything, and a username. When I called them, because I couldn't get in, because the federal hadn't sent the information over here to the state, and then when I spoke to this woman, she told me to put in my first name, last name, and use that as my username. So I did that, created, I got in the system, I started to complete the financial part of it. I called them. I had asked them about my disability, and should I put that into the section that says um, unreported income from such and such. So she told me, she said, no, leave it at zero, and that's what I did. And then I got logged out of the system, and when I tried to log back in using the username, which is my first and last name, I couldn't get back in. So I called back again, right? And she told me, she's like, I spoke to another lady, and I explained to her what happened, and she said to me, I've never seen that happen. She said, I've worked here the longest, and I've never seen that happen. If you created your account with your username being your name on it, and you got logged out, and you log back in again, you should use the same information. I said, well, no. So what I did, I went and again, I did forget username, and they emailed it to me, and it was a totally different name. So she was like, that's weird. She's like, I've never seen that happen. But again, when you're a targeted individual, this is what they do. This is because when they're able to hack into the city resources, the city, your state, or the federal server, stuff like that has to deal with this educational stuff, it's the government that's doing this, right? You understand this, right? Okay, this is the government that is actively doing this to people, right? And I don't mean the entire government, but those that are acting to this program, those that are the creators of this program, those who are the perpetrators committing this crime, they work within the government, whether it be the police department, whether it be local law, state uh, law enforcement agencies, federal enforcement agencies, even the damn CIA. Because we all know this type of program is the brainchild of the CIA and the Department of Defense. Okay, that's what we know. So this is what's happening. So how is it that they only disperse $774.38, right? When the and it's weird, okay? Because on the tap it says estimated tap waiver for $258.43, right? I don't understand that. So I'm gonna have to call them. I'm not sure if I can call them because school starts on the 29th, and there's no way I can pay for school. Okay, and it's funny because when I went to the student of accessibility department, and I had a meeting, 12 o'clock meeting. and I'm speaking to the person that's in charge of that department, and I had to bring them documents about my disability and everything. Like, he keep talking about going to school part time, but I wasn't going to school. I'm not going to school part time. I'm going to school full time. So I think they were try to either tell me something subliminal message that the federal okay, hold on a sec. I got a call. I gotta take this. Yeah. So that was this is what's going on here. Okay. So something is not right. Something is not right. So yeah, again, and I gotta make these videos, and every time they do stuff like this, they always send me subliminal messages about if I say anything, I'm going to get arrested and stuff like that. Hence the reason why they've been posting these police vehicles at the bus stop, and when I leave the house, turn the corner, police, stuff like that. Same thing like what you see in this video, right, that I played earlier. Okay, so that's been happening a lot lately, and for the most part, I've been ignoring the most part of it. But again, they're messing with my financial aid and trying to give me less financial aid. You know, um, within my you know my income, which is I'm on disability. Okay, so again, this is what's been going on. This is what's been happening. Continuously to be mobbed. Even and I knew it was going to happen. You know what I'm saying? And I actually made recordings, not video recordings, but audio recordings of you know this stuff because it's interesting. Even yesterday when the other lady Mila was filling out my schedule, there was no, even those previous times, there was no mention about because I had already said that I was applying for financial aid, so there was. It's weird how they do it because they didn't mention anything about the tuition fee and anything like that as of today, where the young lady, the Asian American lady, all of a sudden, he's talking about, oh, it's 12 credits, 15 credits. They're going to charge you a flat rate. It's going to be a flat rate everywhere. And I was like, okay, I got financial aid, because I'm thinking that, yeah, I'm on disability. I live off of uh, disability. You know, they can't expect me to pay for, college. You know what I'm saying? It's too expensive for me. Um, even with the with my disability, I can't afford to. So this is what they've been doing. And like I said, and I got 14 credits yesterday. They knew I needed 15. Not for the financial aid portion of it, but in order to, you know, get the classes that I need to graduate on time. And I even had a class that was accredited to me from what I've taken previously. Okay, from what I've taken previously, I had some credits from 3 classes. Okay, so she was like, if you take the 15 credits per semester, you can actually graduate ahead of time. And again, this is something that they don't want happen. Okay, so they're going to try to prevent me from graduating on time, and or have me go to school longer, because this is what they do, right? This is all part of this program, is to deny you everything that you want. That's what it is. And you hear how they're beeping the horn, and I said to deny you everything that I want. They'll, you know, confirmation. That's what they do. So when you hear that car honking, that's confirmation. All right, and not once but twice. Okay. Yeah. So what else? What else? All right. So this is ridiculous. I mean, this is the shit that they do. And again, just trying to expose it. So look at much times I have to go back into that area. This is my first schedule, right? Which again, they had me. Um, I had 2 early classes on Thursday. The last one ended at I think it was like 10, 11 something, and then I had to come back at night 6 o'clock for another class. You know, listen, a lot of walking is not good for me, right? And I was telling her this, that I needed my class to be early in the morning, but like I said, they knew what they were doing, and they made me wait. She took her time, then she left for 20 minutes, then come back when it was time for me to go. So I couldn't really, you know, pay attention to the schedule to change it. So I had to leave. Okay, and this is what they do because they're hoping that the classes will get filled up and I won't be able to take the class. But I spoke to the chairman of my department and one of the professors, and they said, make the changes and we'll work with you to accommodate you, right? So that was only how I was able to work and get the schedule. Oh man, this paper fell down. And get my schedule in the way how I wanted it, right? So yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous. It really is, you know. And then like I said, this is another video that I did, right? It's a video that I did. Oh, yesterday. So anyway, so when I came out of financial aid, it was very funny. I walk up, not walk upstairs. I took the elevator to the first floor, got out of the elevator, right? Went to get my classes changed, got out of that office, and I'm walking, getting ready to leave, and this Hispanic woman standing by the elevator, she sees me and she starts doing this really loud. She's like, and I'm like, lady, I don't know you. What the hell doesn't, you know what I'm saying? But you understand what it means when somebody come in your face and they do this, right? But this is the shit that they do, right? I mean, it's ridiculous. But this is what they've been doing. And I think that they're either trying to steal money from me through the financial aid, okay? Because this is what they do. They try to extort money from you or steal money from you, right? Because they got to find some way to fund their program. They got to find some way of paying these perpetrators, okay? So any money you receive from the state or from federal, they will try to take. Like, for example, my disability. When I first got my disability, I was supposed to get a certain amount, right? But I didn't. And I said, hey, what happened to the rest of my money? And I had to call them, right? And they were like, well, the Social Security was like, well, we send the money to the bank. So I called Chase. I said, why is it that only some of the money showed into my account? And this was like, I had to wait a whole week, right? Before the rest of the money got posted to my account. Why did that happen? If they're sending the money to my account at once, some of it isn't supposed to go in, and then they decide to hold on to the other half until I started complaining. Then they release the rest of it. But this is what they did, and this is what they continue to do. Always trying to, like, if I go to the bank, they're always trying to look to see the PIN number that I put in. Okay, the last time I went to the bank, I had to take out money. I put in the sum. I hear the machine counting the money. The the slot open for the money to come out. No money came out. Okay, I had to uh, go to another machine. Right when I went to the other machine, put in my card, try to take the money out. This is insufficient funds. I'm like, how could that be? I just used the other ATM machine. They didn't give me my money. It should be in my account. So when I check balance, it says something about something credit. So I had to go inside the bank, and then they were like, well, if the money didn't come out and you get some credit, you gotta wait a couple of days. I didn't have a couple of days. I needed that money to do something right now, to take care of something, and they knew this. They knew it, but they did it on purpose. Okay, it wasn't until I started recording what was happening. Then I had to go to another teller. Then all of a sudden, she's like, put in your card. I put in my PIN, and then, the money was in the account. And she was like, just take the amount that you wanted. And I did, and she gave me the money, and I left. And I think I did a video on that when I was leaving, coming out the bank. This is the stuff that they do, okay? This is what they're doing. Then on top of that, lately, They even today they send this. Me and this guy was talking, and this other guy was passing. Muslim guy, what have you, and we were talking about religion, and he wanted to interject, and I know they sent him trying to get me to believe in this nonsense, and he's talking about the three religion, Hebrew, Christianity, and Islam. They all invaded Spain at the same time, which is all bullshit. I'm saying, but I knew he was a plant that they send him there, and they'll do this. They'll send these religious fanatics to come and talk to me to try to change my mind, and then, you know, afterwards, after they can't change my mind, then it's like, oh, you're gonna burn in hell, or the angel of death is gonna come visit you. That's what he said to me. The angel of death was gonna come visit me. Okay, this is the shit that they do, right? These three major religion, okay, because they think they believe in the same God, right? So for people like me, who's an atheist, who don't believe in that shit, or to people who practice African spirituality, okay, we are a threat to these people, okay? Because in order for the elites to continue the control of the majority of humans on this planet by feeding them religion, whether it be Christianity, Islam, or uh, Hebrew, okay, because they know what it does to their mind, all right, and give them the ability to control them, the religious people, right? So now they form under, I guess, one umbrella to fight those who are practicing the ancient Kemetic uh, spiritual belief system, a belief system in which their religion derives from. You understand? And again, this is white supremacy at work. This is those elites, white supremacists, right, at the top, the elites, who know the truth of these religion, right? Who know that these religion came from the African spiritual belief system. Okay? They know this, right? So this is what's happening. Okay? And I just got to put it out there to let people know what's happening and what's continuing to happen. Uh, there's something that I also wanted to read, and let's see here. Here we go. So this is again from The Hidden Evil by Mark Rich, and he's talking about the intention and effect of this program. Okay, the objective is to force the targeted person to commit suicide or an act of violence, so they become incarcerated on a condition that can be plausible denied by the government. Other objectives appear to be to induce homelessness brought about by financial ruin and reduce the quality of life so much that the person suffers a nervous breakdown. Now, this was happening to me. I had suffered a nervous breakdown, and they continue, even though I've been building up my mind, creating defense mechanism to fight the indoctrination, the brainwashing. But this is what they've done and continue to try to do. The advanced surveillance technology and directed energy weapons will also serve the purpose of isolating the person from their immediate family. McKinney mentioned that the agencies carried out these attacks demand a perverted sense of loyalty from the individual they are attacking. In other words, it is clear the characteristic behavior of the psychopath who must degrade the individual on the attack. More on this will be covered in the chapter The Psychopathic Influence, and we're going to talk about that. Moving to a complete new location will not stop this. All normal escape mechanisms have been removed in all of the NATO countries. Your protocol, commented McKinney, follows you wherever you go, so it's a waste of time. Symptoms and consequences. Because mobbing and group stalking are quite similar, targeted individuals may experience mobbing symptoms and carry out these acts: nervous breakdown, depression, panic attacks, heart attacks, other severe illnesses, suicide, violence directed at third parties, going postal, uncontrolled acting out, persistent anxiety, fatalistic outlook on life, frequent or long sick leave at work, isolations. According to Moret, Munzet, and McKinney, other reported symptoms and situations are forced onto medication for anxiety, depression, imprisonment, forced into mental hospitals, homelessness, framing, stage accidents, death. Those under attack are experiencing an almost unbelievable amount of trauma. As a comparison, the Stasi psychological attacks against its citizens' target were said to be more painful than physical torture. According to McKinney, most of those under attack are completely unaware of it. Rather, they're visiting the doctors for trauma that was deliberately inflicted and receiving psychiatric medication for non-existent mental disorder. Okay, I think we talk about this with the memory loss, dizziness, headaches, extreme fatigue, sleep deprivation, and disruption. Three out of the two I had, and it's really, really bad. My headaches, short-term memory loss, sleep deprivation. Okay, so I'm not going to get into all this stuff, but I do want to get into the psychopathic uh, part of this, right? So let me just scroll down here. You guys can read this. I'm just going to scroll. Volume 2, Part 2. The psychopathic influence. The psychopathic influence. Description of a psychopath. Both the financial elite and their servants who maintain the system appears to exhibit behavior that is consistent with symptoms of psychopathy. Psychopaths, also called sociopaths, are categorized as those who exhibited these traits: unreliability, frequent lying, deceitful and manipulative behavior, either goal oriented or for the delight of the act itself, lack of remorse or shame, antisocial behavior, poor judgment and failure to learn by experience, incapacity for love, a poverty of general emotions, loss of insights, unresponsive in personal relations, a frequent need for excitement, an inflated ego, an ability to rationalize their negative behavior, a need for complete power over others. Psychopathy is basically an emotional disorder, and critical features of psychopathy the critical features of psychopathy is the emotional impairment. Although psychopaths don't feel emotion in a normal sense, they do experience boredom, envy, exhilaration, contempt, sadistic pleasure, anger, and hints of depression. Okay, it's nice to know that there are actual disorders that can be used to describe these people. I've learned that the financial elites exhibited these psychopathic behavior while listening to authors and talk show host Alan Watts at www.cuttingthroughthematrix.com. Generally, those who believe it's caused by environmental factors use the term sociopath, and believers of the biological theory use the term psychopath. Psychopathy closely resembles antisocial personality disorder, ADA, or conduct disorder, CD, as outlined in the DSM-4. I just want to say this. This definition I don't think is accurate because a lot of these people, they're in groups that are attacking us. Okay, they exhibit a lot of psychopathic behavior, and they're in groups. They're not isolated. Okay, so let's you know get this correct. Unless he means in terms of the elites thinking that they're different from other people and that they are uh, intellectually superior. Okay, then they may not want to be around, I guess, the common people. These characteristic types comprise about 4% of the population and span every level of society. Psychopaths can be found in every race, culture, profession, and class. Because the term psychopath has been used to describe APD types and sociopaths, in this chapter I will use a universal label. Okay, so we're not going to get into all that stuff. But I will say this. Lying, deceiving, and manipulation are natural talents for psychopaths. And that's they are because these people are very manipulative, they lie, and they're very deceitful. Okay? When caught in a lie or challenged with the truth, they are seldom perplexed or embarrassed. They simply change their stories or attempt to rework the facts so that they appear to be consistent with the lie. Psychopaths have a unique ability to justify their actions, no matter how brutal. They feel no guilt about the devastating harm they cause to others. Okay, so I'm just gonna um, stop reading this right here, but I do want to say something too in terms of the relationship between me and Pam and what they do, and also to give others an insight into what they do. When it comes to black consciousness, okay, if you are a black person, man or woman, who have come into consciousness, right, and who have rejected the European idea of history, okay, what they will do if you are married or you have a significant other, they will send a Caucasian person, man or woman, whether you like them same sex or opposite sex, to basically entice your significant other into dating them or taking them away from you as a form of punishment to say, see, look, he's all conscious and all about black power, and look, we took his woman, now she's dating a white man, or we took her man, so now he's dating a white woman, right? Or we made her into a homosexual, so now she don't even like men, and it's because of him. Okay, this is the thing that they do. This is how they destroy black family, black relationships. They meddle in our relationships. They meddle in our families, and they destroy and separate our family. This has been the case with these people. I'm not talking about all white people. I'm talking about the system of white supremacy in which a lot of white people participate in. Okay, so I'm talking about those who participate in the system of white supremacy. All right, and the destruction of the black man and woman and the black family. Okay, so that's what I'm talking about. So let me make this clear. So this is what they're doing. So lately, like I said, they've been using a lot of these white men with tattoos. Uh, like I keep seeing them, what have you, and and they all have beard for the most part. And again, it's trying to make me believe because uh, anytime Pamela goes up with a coworker and she takes pictures with them, she's the only black person there, the only black woman there. And we know, when it comes to black women, white people in particular are more uh, what's what I'm trying to say, acceptance when it comes to black women. They will accept a black woman more than they will accept a black man, particularly if it's a strong black man who knows history, right, and who don't kiss ass, right. I'm not saying that there isn't any, but the majority of black women, when they get around white people, because of that religious indoctrination and the belief of their Jesus or their God being white, they are subjected to be more docile and look up to white people, particularly white men, as some sort of savior. Because you constantly hear black women talk about, well, white men have better jobs, they have more money. Of course. So what black women don't do is they don't look at the underlying reason as to why black men are in the position that we are in under white supremacy. Okay? And then the few black men who are professional doctors, lawyers, whatever, every black woman want to have them. I want to marry them, and there isn't enough, right? So a black man that's hardworking, who may not be a lawyer, who may not be making $150,000 a year or $200,000 a year, as compared to a white man, which there are many more of, you know, then you have other black women saying, well, I make this amount, and I need a man who's going to make this amount, and if he happens to be white or Asian, then that's what I'm going to date, right? Because again, today your acceptance is based on how much money you make, right? When people go out looking for a mate, it's, I need somebody who's going to make more than me or is on my level, right? And that's where we have an issue where you have many single black women, many single black men who are just dating because they're constantly searching for someone who's making more money than them or the same amount of money as they are. And within the black community, that's a small percentage of people, okay, who's going to be making $150,000 a year, $200,000 a year, okay. And if we all have that mentality, we're not going to marry nobody. And that's the decline of black family, black marriage, all this stuff, as well as other things. But I just got to speak on that. All right. So understand what we're dealing with. Understand who we're dealing with. Understand why they're doing what they're doing. The fear of the black family, the fear of the strong black family, the fear of black consciousness. And I'm sorry for turning into this, but this needs to be said, right? This needs to be said. That fear of the black family, that seeing that strong black man, strong black woman, and I'm just talking about, in terms of money, what have you, but in terms of instilling the history, the true history, instilling the sense of knowledge within yourself, within your children, okay, rejecting the European idea of beauty, okay, loving the black man and the black woman, looking at their features, whether they have a broad nose or big lips, seeing it as being beautiful because it is beautiful. But they have turned our mind against us. And what is considered beautiful is white. And we need to get away from that. Okay? We need to go back to who we once were. Okay? A great people. All right? Who the Europeans were jealous of. They thought we were beautiful. And they flipped the script on us. Okay? When they came into that consciousness of white superiority. Okay? Understand this. All right. Well, let's see here. Is there anything I want to talk about? Okay. Why is this website? Okay, there we go. Fine, it's loaded. Okay. So understand the psychological conditioning. Read about coercive mind control tactics. Read about psychological manipulation. Understand how it's being used under the system of white supremacy. Understand how it's being used in this coercive program against people who they deem to be a threat. Okay. Well, that's it for the video. And I will see you guys on the next video.